Today we're going to be working on my Talaria XXX. This bike's been very good to me throughout the last 2 years of ownership. I've also upgraded the power and the suspension as well, but there are just a few small things that still kind of irk me about this bike, which I want to address today. The first thing I want to address is definitely the seat. The stock seat is just super skinny and has very little padding on it, which can make longer rides very uncomfortable. I think the longest I've ridden this bike so far was in Annapolis, Maryland last year, something like 45 miles on one charge. And it felt extra long to me with this seat, and I've been meaning to upgrade the seat since that day. The second thing I want to upgrade is the rear fender. I've actually been riding on trails a lot recently, and we took this thing off-road last week and my back got absolutely caked in mud. So you can see this is the Hydro Pack I was wearing, and the mud would just sling directly on my back because the stock fender is so short. So we're going to be installing a extended rear fender to reduce the amount of debris that's getting slung on my back, and I think it's actually going to look a lot better. I'm going to start off by removing this top panel, which is held on by three 3mm Allen bolts. The plug we just disconnected is for the taillight. It routes under the seat. Next, we're going to be taking the whole seat and subframe off as an assembly, starting by removing this front bolt. The nut is a 13mm, and then the bolt head is just a 6mm Allen. Then we're going to remove the four 6mm Allen bolts on the bottom of the rear subframe. It came off easier than I thought. We're going to be replacing this with a brand new float seat from Lunicycle, which definitely has a lot more padding on there. It's also got a wider surface area up top. It seems to have similar vinyl material for the seat cover, but the nice stitching along the sides here separates the top of the seat from the side, so it kind of changes up the look quite a bit. Dang, I completely forgot that we don't have a solution for mounting this onto the new fender. So this is the new extended rear fender that we're gonna throw on there. I believe this is the same one on the new XXX Pro or some of the other international models, which is definitely a few inches longer than the stock one. And I think it looks really nice, but we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna mount this tail light on there because I don't wanna lose this. I might use a section of the stock fender and mount it on here somehow. Stick around and find out what we do. Just gonna have to be mindful of how the stock harness is routed. We're just gonna replicate exactly how it's routed from the factory. Just gonna reuse the original hardware to mount the new fender onto the new seat. Just so I don't forget that this is going to be under this original panel, I'm just going to install these on the new seat before we install the subframe and the other items. Okay, now it's time to figure out how we're gonna mount this onto the new fender. I also don't want to lose these two mounting points for the bottom panel, so I'm definitely going to be reusing a section of the stock fender. Before we continue, if you're enjoying today's video, make sure you hit that like button. And if you like this kind of content, Want to keep up with some of my bike projects, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn your bell notification on. If you are interested in checking out any of the parts that we're using for today's project, I'll have everything linked in the description below. So what I'm planning on doing here is cutting out just this intersection, just to make sure we have majority of the original mounting points in place. But I don't really want anything protruding from the sides of the new Fender, since I'm trying to make this look as clean as possible. I'm also going to be cutting off the reflector mount on the original bottom panel because I've never been a fan of the reflector right below the taillight. It seems kind of redundant. You know what? Considering I used an angle grinder, that actually looks pretty clean. Though if you happen to own a Dremel with smaller cutting discs, you could probably make it look a little cleaner, but I'm pretty happy with that. I can't believe that worked. Well, there it is, guys. That's how you mount the original taillight with an extended XXX Fender. I think it actually turned out pretty clean. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to reconnect the taillight. And here's how it looks installed. Rear fender looks almost like it came like that from the factory. Really happy with how the taillight turned out. I thought it was gonna look a lot jankier with how I cut that, but it actually isn't that obvious. And same thing with the bracket that holds the light down. And that is not going anywhere. Really happy with how clean it turned out. And I'm also happy that it extended it at least another 2 inches or so. So that's definitely gonna reduce the amount of debris on my back. Man, the first thing that I noticed hopping back on this thing after we installed the 54 tooth rear sprocket is it's got so much low end torque. Like, it just picks up speed so quickly, so easily. Now, I don't actually think that this bike is going 64 right now. I think the reading's off because I haven't had it recalibrated since the sprocket swap. The nuclear controller speedometer works off of motor RPM, so I do need to calibrate that. I'm suspecting it really goes maybe 52 miles per hour. Actually, you know what? Let's go test that out real quick with the GPS. All right, let's see how fast this thing actually still goes. 63, 64 miles per hour on the controller. Phone says we're going 50 miles per hour. So that is to be expected with a larger sprocket. I'm just gonna recalibrate that later on, but I'm really loving this Luna float seat. so much comfortable. There's definitely a lot more seat between my legs. But one thing I noticed hopping on this for the first time with the new seat installed is it definitely raises seat height at least half an inch, which I certainly don't mind since it's such a tiny bike anyway. Man, this thing just has so much low end torque. I installed that larger rear sprocket mostly for off-road use, but I'm kind of enjoying it for full time anyway, since it just picks up so quickly. If you are interested in checking out any of the parts used on this bike build, I have the full parts list in the description below. But if you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you like this kind of content, want to keep up with some of my bike projects, such as this Talaria, my ETM RTR, any of my racers, consider subscribing to this channel. But this is going to be it for today. Thank you for watching.